right. What is up, everybody? Matt Modi here, joined with me, Bridget Case, here to talk about Monday Night Football. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these Monday streams. It's mostly been my fault. I've been out of town basically every Monday for the past month. I don't think I've had a free Monday since September. But here we are, here to preview the incredible game, not really, between the Raiders and the Lions. Bridget, how are you?
I'm great. I'm repping a Chargers win after last night, even though I know it's against the Bears, but I'll take anything at this point.
Hey, a win's a win.
Feeling good. Exactly. Win's a win.
Just ask the Chiefs.
Dude, I know.
Yeah, weird game. Yeah. So, first of all, get better. I know you've been sick for the past couple of days / week / 10 days. I forget how long it's been. For people that are new, haven't tuned into one of our live streams yet, want to just introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah. So my name is Bridget. I am a full-time content creator, but former sports anchor. I create a lot of content for FanDuel. So that's where I get all of my odds, and we're coming up with a lot of fun things for this season. But I stream on Twitch for every single NFL game. So you can come watch with me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Bridget Case, or just search Bridget Case on Twitch. And of course, that's where you can find me elsewhere. But we do a lot of live betting, a lot of DFS, daily fantasy stuff, which I actually have a free Monday Night Football, free $100 play for you guys tonight, actually, that I hope I can share. So, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, fun. I always hate when people ask me to introduce myself, so I apologize. I never know what to say. It's like, I don't know, I'm not that interesting. Like me or don't, it's fine. But yeah, I
usually honestly say I'm a professional idiot on the internet.
That's honestly better than anything I've said. I still haven't really nailed down when people ask me like, "Oh, introduce yourself." I'm just, I don't know.
I know.
I like sports. I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, we can get into tonight's game. So Raiders versus Lions. Lions are pretty decently favored, although at one point it was like 7.5, and now it moved down to like 7 or 6.5, depending on where you look. FanDuel's giving you the best
you found
line.
It at 6.5 somewhere. I did see that.
Yeah, it's only available where I got it. Sport Trade. Shout out Sport Trade. Only available in Colorado or New Jersey. So if you're in one of those states, by all means. But yeah, if you're looking at the Raiders, best offer on FanDuel at minus 108 at +7. The over under is a little bit scattered, but it's mostly hovering around 46.5. You can get a 45.5 on FanDuel if you're into the over. So in terms of the main lines, what are your thoughts on this one?
Okay. Well, I don't love them. Here's the thing. I'm getting a little crazy tonight because I am so high on the Lions. And I know, listen, every team has their like WTF week, right? And Detroit had that last week.
Yep.
And it's not like it happened against a terrible team. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Ravens are good. Yeah,
right.
Ravens are good.
Ravens are good. We've been learning that slowly but surely. But like for me, I think under the Monday Night Lights at home, if you want like if you just want like a leg in any sort of parlay, of course, I think like, well, let me check actually. What's the money line at right now? I just had it. I was gonna say at -350. I'm not like, I just think there's like not a ton of crazy value there, but and we're at -7 right now for the Lions for the spread. But what I'm doing actually is getting a little crazy, and I'm down for an alternate line. Okay, so I'm looking at -13.5.
I like it. I was thinking the same thing. So no, go ahead. I was thinking the same thing.
I think what did I have? That -13.5 is at +180. So I think Lions can cover that. That's almost 2 touchdowns. I think that's like an easy. I think that I don't necessarily think this is gonna be a crazy blowout. I think it might be close until the second half and the Lions run away with it. But the Raiders are just awful. They're so poorly coached. Jimmy G's just coming back. They actually have weapons, but I swear it's like they don't know how to use them. And I think honestly, and this Lions defense like continues to show up. And I don't know, man. Dan Campbell's got these guys rolling. I'm liking, I like an alternate spread at -13.5. Lions to cover.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I like that as well. I locked in the main line -6.5, as you mentioned at the beginning. I totally agree. I think this is going to be just an ass kicking, for lack of a better word. The Lions have they're 5-2. 4 of their 5 wins are by 14 or more points. Their only victory that wasn't was when they played the Chiefs and like they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, like the ring ceremony with granted that was Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, whatever. They still beat the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Still BS to me. You have one of the best quarterbacks ever. Come on, you got to figure out a way to win.
Yeah, well, the receivers dropped everything. But yeah, I mean the Raiders they're just not a good team. Like they have weapons. Somehow every throw ends up being to Jacoby Myers, who's fine. Like he's a fine player, but he's not as good as Devontae Adams.
No, you got Josh Jacobs. Like, come on.
And like with the other guy, the white guy, the receiver,
Max Crosby.
No, Renfro. Like, he was amazing.
Renfro.
Yeah, he was amazing 2 years ago, and
I know he's been like Miss MIA.
Yeah, and now his over under is like 9.5 receiving yards.
I was wondering if he was injured or something because I literally.
No, they just don't use him. It's weird.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, like they're 30th, just looking at advanced stats, 30th in total DVOA, 31st on offense, 24th on defense, which is probably all because of Max Crosby, who's incredible. They just have nothing going for them. And then the Lions, they're at home. They have like shown the ability to just smash bad opponents. They're 6th in DVOA. They're 6th on offense, 9th in defense. Like one of the only teams that's top 10 in both. Looks like it's like Baltimore and Kansas City are the only other teams that are top 10 in both offense and defense. Just a well-rounded team. They play in a dome. So I don't know what the weather's like in Detroit. It won't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they play in a dome. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I think this is just going to be a total ass kicking in favor of the Lions, which means that because it's Monday Night Football, it's going to like Raiders are going to win like 13-10.
Yeah. Right.
That's just how things go. In terms of the total, I don't know if you had any thoughts there. I think FanDuel has it at 45.5. So yeah, if you like the over, you're getting a better price in most books. I am personally not touching it. I don't really have any thoughts there.
Yeah, I don't either. It's just not worth it to me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders really had trouble scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of how I feel. So I feel significantly more confident in the Lions. So yeah, we can move on. It seems like we're both pretty confidently on the Lions. If anybody listening has questions or comments or player prop questions, whatever they want, feel free to put that in the chat as we move on to talk about player props. So yeah, player props. Do you have any that you like for tonight?
So, I mean, I'm pretty much obviously riding high on the Lions, but I honestly do believe despite the Raiders, I think they have scored like the second fewest points in the league right now. You have Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers, and still not able to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think Devontae Adams is due for a touchdown, especially with the value there. So I do have him at an anytime touchdown at plus. It was at plus 145, and I believe it actually went up to plus 150 on FanDuel.
I think it's still on FanDuel. It's still 145.
Oh, so maybe it went down. Maybe I had it at plus 150 and it went down. But honestly, I mean, I know he's only scored 3 times. I think Jimmy G is gonna like have this like last resort epic Hail Mary-ish. I need to connect with this guy all night because the trade deadline's coming up. I got to do anything to keep him, so I think this is kind of like a last effort. And honestly, Devontae Adams is totally due. So, yeah, I think Devontae Adams has like a lot of value there. That's kind of honestly one of my only positive value plays tonight. So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't have anything for anytime touchdown. I've honestly just been getting smoked with a lot of my anytime touchdown predictions, so I kind of just moved on from that. The one of the main lines that I do like is Josh Jacobs under his rushing yardage. I got it at 63.5. Looks like FanDuel has it at all the way down at 55. So it got just hammered down. But he's been their whole team's been bad. Josh Jacobs has also been bad. It's one of those things like you show up late to camp and then he just never seemed to be able to find his rhythm. He's been terrible. The Lions mentioned have a very good defense. They have the 8th best rushing defense, just looking at DVOA, 2nd fewest rushing yards per game, 3rd lowest yards per carry. Meanwhile, with the Raiders, they have the literal worst rushing offense in the NFL. Again, this is all looking at DVOA, just advanced stats. Their offensive line is 3rd worst in terms of adjusted yards gained. They're just terrible. And Jacobs has only gone over this in 2 of 6 games. And both those games, they were winning the entire time. And he had 20 or more carries. It's not going to happen in this one. I would be shocked even if the Raiders end up winning, I'd be shocked if it was a game that they were winning the entire time, that they could just run out the clock like they did against the Packers and against the Patriots. And those are the only 2 times that he's gone over. And Packers have a terrible defense. Patriots, the defense is fine. It's their offense that can't do anything except for, I don't know, against the Bills randomly.
Yeah.
So that's like the one mainline player prop. That was my absolute favorite. I absolutely love that one.
Ooh, I do too. I was looking at rushing yards on the other side with Jahmyr Gibbs, but that line has kind of been all over the place for me, like taking a look at different books. I think like right now on FanDuel, it's at 71.5, which is a tad high for me. But like the Raiders, again, like it's the Raiders, man. And I know they've like allowed a ton of, they're tied like 5th most for rushing touchdowns, and allowing rushing touchdowns. And I'm just not, I don't know. I think like Gibbs could go off. If this was still available, I saw it somewhere else at like 62, and I would smash that like easy. So 71.5, I'm a little bit skeptical. I think that's that. But
yeah,
you know, if you're really confident in the line tonight, like that is something to look at. My favorite player, honestly, though, tonight, like is Sam Laporta. I have like loved watching him develop.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, awesome. He's so great. And he's come through on you know, a few times like for me. And I've mostly like, I was taking a look at his receptions line, which I think is at 4.5.
Yeah, that's that. Right, at least now, last I checked, it was also at 4.5.
Yeah. So actually, no, it's 4.5 everywhere else. And then I think, oh no, it is still 4.5 here. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus 108.
Yeah. So I do like him to hit that. I think people like people are a little bit skeptical. He's hit 4. He's hit at least 4. I think the last like 4 out of 5 performances. But I think again, tonight it's against the Raiders. I think he's going to be getting like a ton of targets, and I really like this. And I think there's obviously value there. So yeah, I would smash that. But I'm also, I also do really like his receiving yards. I think it's still at over, let's see. I had it. Oh crap. Did it move? Dang.
47.5.
Oh, I had it at 44.5.
I hate when that happens.
But right. Yeah. But I did see some books that had it closer to 50. So I will say, I think he's projected to at least hit 50. There's definitely that's still something that like I would take a look at. And I know at least with 44.5, he's gone over this number the last 5 times. And like, he's just been phenomenal. I think, oh yeah. So last week, yeah, he had 6 catches for 52 yards, and that was against Baltimore. And they've got a good defense against tight ends. Yeah. So I believe with the Raiders, like giving up so much, they gave up 41.5 yards to tight ends the last few weeks. They haven't even had a top tight end to play this season. I just think Sam Laporta is going to run all over him, and his receiving yards are going to go skyrocket to the sky. And that's I'm on him honestly for his receiving yards and receptions. I know that's not, maybe don't put it in the same parlay, but it's something to look at.
Yeah, well, looking at props.cash, they have him at basically 60 receiving yards, 59.92 with 5 receptions. So a little support for you there. I agree. Back to your first point on Jahmyr Gibbs, excuse me. I have him. So I've been doing for the NFL. It's been 1 week, but instead of taking someone at their main line, I'll just juice up the numbers a little bit just to get much better odds. So yeah. I juiced up Jahmyr Gibbs to get to 100 plus rushing yards.
Woo!
He is yet to go over 80. So obviously there's a little bit of risk here,
right?
But it's one of those ones where I'm just calling my shot. No David Montgomery last week. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's I forgot to say that the Lions are without David Montgomery. So who's going to be running?
Yeah, no David Montgomery. Last week was his first week back since September from a hamstring injury, and he played 63 of 70 snaps. He only had 11 carries, but that's because they were getting smoked the entire game, and he got 68 rushing yards on those 11 carries. Now they're lucky enough to go up against the Raiders rushing defense. That is the 5th worst in the NFL, according to DVOA. They give up 129 rushing yards per game, which is 24th ranked, 4.4 yards per carry, which is 22nd ranked. The Lions have consistently, under Dan Campbell, been a very good rushing team.
Yeah.
They don't seem to love the guy behind him, Khalif Raymond, the other running back. 63 of 73 snaps for rookie in his first game back. maybe that's because he gets all the passing work, and that's why he was in the game last week against the Ravens, because they were losing. So there is a little bit of risk here, but it's one of those situations where the books, like you mentioned, have his over-under at 71.5, and he has only gone over that once this year when he had 80. So it's one of those things where like all the books are projecting him to smash what he's done so far this year. And he's so electric. He just needs like a couple plays in space and he can break one.
And just let him go. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I remember being so frustrated in that week 1 game. They ended up winning, so it worked out, but they kept giving the ball to David Montgomery. And I was like, Jahmyr Gibbs just moves differently. It's like watching, it's 2 different things. Gibbs over 15.5 rushing attempts is interesting.
Ooh, I didn't even go there on attempts. Let me.
Yeah, I need to look up. So okay, the one game where he had 80 yards, he had 17 attempts.
So obviously, he's at 16.5 at plus 102 on FanDuel right now.
So if you can get over 15.5, that's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's played without David Montgomery. He's played in 2 games. He's had 17 and 11 carries in those 2 games. And he's had 80 and 68 rushing yards. So that's exactly why everything is getting juiced up. I like that. I would honestly take the Gibbs 15.5 rushing attempts. Obviously, it all depends on your odds. Looks like props.cash has him projected for exactly 15. So like right around that number. But I haven't done a ton into the carries. If I'm going to project him to get 100 yards, he should get 16 or more carries. So that seems like a good over for me. Did you have any other player props, like some weird ones?
No, I mean, nothing really crazy. I'm honestly the one that to me that honestly was the weirdest, but it's like, if you had told me last year, I never would have thought, but before Devontae Adams went to the Raiders, I would have always I would have never thought it was weird to like risk anything on a Devontae Adams anytime touchdown. But now that's just where we are.
No Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just where we are. But yeah, so honestly, like that's the most for me. Let me go back, because for Sam Laporta on his wait, shoot, I accidentally clicked
for his touchdown, if that's what you're asking.
Well, that was interesting to me. Wait, what did I have? Did I have it? No. Oh shoot, did I not write it down? That was like another one I was looking at. Go back. Good Lord. That was another one I was looking at plus 180. So it's a little bit more, but again, because I just think Sam Laporta is just, at home. Raiders struggle against tight ends. That to me is also very interesting. I wouldn't, put Sam Laporta's props all together, obviously, because it's a little crazy that I'm like so riding high on Sam Laporta. I just think he's so young and he's so explosive and so fun to watch. And there was it like 2 weeks ago? He had like 2 touchdowds.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking up his stats. It was three games. Yeah, 3 games ago he had 2. Yeah, okay. He had 2 against the Panthers.
Yeah.
What I like about Laporta is he just consistently gets work. Like he gets between 5 and then maxes out at 11 targets. Yep. Basically every game. Only one game has he had fewer than 5, and that was the game against Carolina when he scored twice. So, and he gets like the high leverage targets, which I like in the red zone on 3rd down. They clearly trust him. And then we haven't even mentioned this yet with Amon-Ra. He's going to play, but he's listed as he's sick. Who knows? That stuff is weird. It's like not an injury that he can battle through. So if he's not sick, then he's probably fine. But we also saw Mahomes yesterday, who was sick, who was clearly not fine.
Yeah, he was not okay.
Yeah. So I have one more pumped up prop,
what you got?
Juiced up prop. It's Josh Reynolds for the Lions.
Oh,
60 plus receiving yards.
Yeah, over. What do you have? 32.5. Where did you get it at?
So his over under is pretty low. It's like 34.5. I have him to go 60 plus. It's like plus 280. So
nice.
Like the odds are much higher.
Let me see. I'm listening. I'm gonna see what some of the other alternates are on FanDuel right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Well, no, he just gets he's like similar to Laporta, just gets consistent work, even with Amon-Ra in or out, even with Jameson Williams came back. Like he put up 50 yards last week, or 2 weeks ago. He put up 43 last week. He only saw 3 targets, which isn't great, but he's still playing the majority of snaps. So I think that it's one of those things where sometimes the targets just don't go your way.
Right.
He's hit 60 yards in 4 of 7 games this year. In 2 of the games that he didn't, again, he had 50 and 43 yards. He only had 1 game in which he totally goosed, which is really bad. So hopefully it's one of those things where like he can get there while they still need to pass. But if Amon-Ra is even a little bit banged up, Josh Reynolds is going to take a lot of those targets. So 60 yards for him, especially for someone that he gets a little bit of a longer, or like his average depth of target is a little bit farther down the field, or he'll take like a screen for 20 yards or whatever. So he might only need 3 catches to get there, and that's basically what he's been getting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got him. 60 plus. Looks like on FanDuel they have him at plus 265.
Yeah.
I got it at 280, so it hasn't moved that far down. So I think it's still pretty good at that number.
Oh, I love it. No, I love that, because I was looking at his regular line, because I saw it higher elsewhere, and so I love the alternate on Reynolds. Like he's been hitting his over, I think, on receiving yards like week after week after week. So
yep.
He's been really consistent. I was going to mention, I forgot another Raider prop that I thought was interesting. It's been kind of all over the place with like when I had looked earlier, comparing the different books, but Michael Mayer, I think he could get some work. He could get a couple catches. It's his receptions line is at 2.5 on FanDuel, at over 2.5 is at minus 106. Last time that Jimmy G was in and healthy, like he was giving the young tight end a lot of energy. So I think this could be something. Like he does only have 10 catches this year, but it is kind of like a little bit of an interesting prop for me. There was a lot of value actually elsewhere where there was like, it was over 2.5 catches on a couple of their books at like plus 110
plus
and
money.
Yeah. So I would say take a look at that.
Yeah. I mean, I like it young, like it's you really can't look at his entirety of the season because he's a rookie. So you figure they're going to give him a little bit more work. I like that. I actually locked it in. I think I got it at, as you mentioned, at plus 110.
Oh, perfect.
One comment, Mr. Mechanical, Laporta, anytime touchdown, over 4.5 receptions, and Josh Reynolds over 2.5. I like all those individually.
I love it.
Parlays are always scary.
Always, but I love that you're stacking those Laporta odds. So there we go.
Yeah. But I'm not going to talk anybody out of that one. Someone mentioned that he got bumped. I'm not sure if it was his yards or his receptions.
Yeah, on what line? Yeah, what got bumped?
Still seeing 4.5 receptions and 47.5 receiving yards. So I don't think it's gotten bumped terribly. It looks like his
handle. Yeah. Well, I think it got it. Justin, if you're talking about his receiving yards, I did have it at 44.5 earlier. That got bumped to 47.5. If that's what.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But his touchdown got, in a good way, bumped up to plus 185.
Yes, exactly.
As it closed to plus 180.
Right.
I also like Laporte's. That's just that nickname makes me laugh. Laporte's. I just think that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, those are my 3 main player props: the Josh Jacobs, the Josh Reynolds, and the Jahmyr Gibbs. I didn't have any touchdowns. I thought about looking at Jacoby Myers receptions because Jimmy, like, for whatever reason, Jimmy G likes throwing him the ball more than they like throwing it to Devontae Adams. I don't understand. But it's over-under's at 4.5, and it's at like minus 150 towards the over. So I wouldn't really touch it there. But if you want to take an alternate number, I wouldn't hate that. Like, he just gets so much work.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. Like, on the year, 10 targets, 12, then 4, 10, 7, 13. Last game. Quarterback, like, I don't know. Quarterbacks just love him. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just probably trying to make up for his famous mishap last year in New England.
When he threw the ball backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I mean, with him, they should trade Devontae Adams. That team's not going anywhere. You might as well get some.
Yeah. I know, dude. Oh, and it's so hard. Like, it's so hard when you're at this point too, because like last night I was even struggling, like, ooh, do I want the Chargers to lose so that Brandon Staley gets fired, or we're like it and I feel like things are going to change with us betting wise just so much after the trade deadline, depending on what kind of moves are made. Cause like, think about it, last year, everything shifted once CMC went to the Niners. So
yeah,
everything, because even just like in regular fantasy, he was consistently like my go-to back, and then like would keep getting hurt. And this is like the healthiest he's stayed. And so I just feel like we're going to have some more of that juju that comes to light. Like maybe Devontae Adams goes somewhere else and then, suddenly like finds the end zone again.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't trade him to a division team, but the Chiefs could really use a receiver. They could really use a receiver. The Chiefs receivers are terrible.
True. Oh my gosh. Like there was like a short shot. Wait, was it yesterday? The Chiefs game yesterday? There was like a short, funny shot on Kadarius Toney yesterday on the bench. Oh, it's just hysterical. It's like you can't look at him without just being like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, the best one is a rookie, and they refuse to play him.
Yeah.
Rice, Rashee Rice.
Yes, Rashee Rice. Yeah.
Yeah, he's their best player, and they don't play him. Some questions. Flip does accept real cash. They're available, I think, in every state. That's like the huge selling point on Flip. Myers, alt receptions, good play. I think 5 is his main, like over 4.5 is his main line. So if you wanted to take an alt number, you'd do like 6 plus 7 plus
I would
8 plus.
Yeah, get a little bit more.
And yes, the Chiefs receivers are terrible. So yeah, I mean, not that exciting of a game. I don't have that much else to say. Do you have any player props, any plays that you have not yet mentioned that you have for tonight?
No, I think that's it. Mostly this that I'm writing, high on Sam Laporta. I did want to check. Usually there are some fun game specials for the Monday night games. I do actually like an Aiden Hutchinson sack and Detroit Lions to win. That's at plus 110. But I just love Aiden Hutchinson. I just think
awesome.
He's so fun to watch. And, it's poor Jimmy G. The Raiders are they're going to struggle. And this Lions defense keeps showing up for me. I like that Aiden Hutchinson sack and Lions win. And usually I'm not trying to jinx anything, but the last few times I have had a defensive player with a sack and that same team to win, it's hit. So
there you go.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good.
It has. It's only been twice, but still.
I mean, that's still a hit.
Exactly. A hit's a hit. So so I think that's my favorite. I think the game specials are fun. It's not something that I'm like, oh, put your whole bankroll on it. No, I just think it's just fun to sprinkle a little something on. I was gonna say on FanDuel there is like an Equinox Day boost. And I don't like it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Was it the Josh Jacobs one?
Yeah, Josh Jacobs over 40 rushing yards, Zion Williams over 20 points, Corbin Carroll over 1 hit, David Pastrnak over 4 shots on goal. That one I would have no idea about. If I ever do put anything on NHL, I literally follow what I tail other people that actually know what they're talking about.
Right.
And that's at plus 350, but I don't love it. And I usually like to take a chance on some of these boosts, but to me that one's just not worth it. So I think that's basically it. But I think like the fun thing about FanDuel is there are a lot of parlays that you can see other people putting together. And so if you don't want to if you just want to sprinkle a little something for fun, and just tail a bunch of other people, it makes it easy because you can just click add to bet slip and go. That's
couple questions. I have one game special DGen play that I actually kind of like. It's plus 7,000 odds. So I only put a $5 free bet on it, but just because it helps my narrative, it's Josh Reynolds to score the first touchdown, Jahmyr Gibbs to score the last touchdown.
Ooh,
plus 7,000 game special on FanDuel. I have both players to go over their yards.
You know what? I love it. If it's going to happen to anybody, it's going to be the Lions. So
exactly.
I'm right. I would be riding with you there. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Running back last. I think that makes sense.
Yes.
NBA question. Sorry, Justin. I couldn't tell you a single thing about Cam Thomas or that point total over under. So I could give you advice. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, I would take a look.
Advice.
Take a look at other people.
Yeah, I would see what other people have to say about that one.
I will say though, if you guys do, can I invite some of you guys to join our $100 DFS contest? Okay, because I will say there is. Actually, I could just put it in the link. This is the link to the FanDuel page if you want to join.
Oh yeah,
It's
let me.
for a free $100 play. Basically, it's totally free. It's basically just like doing your normal fantasy football lineup. But you pick 5 players, you pick 1 MVP to score like basically 1.5 times their points. So like tonight you might pick
Gibbs, yeah,
Gibbs or Jared Goff or Sam Laporta, who cares? But basically you just want to stay under your salary cap, and you pick 5 players in the game tonight. And I believe prizes go out to like the top 11 people. I don't know. There's been a lot of money getting passed out for free. It's totally easy. And the best part is if you're in a non-legal betting state, you can still play. So that's why I love this. It's totally fun. No risk. So, why not? And then we'll be sweating our bets tonight on Twitch. I'll be live during the game. I'll be live about an hour before the game, and then so if you want to sweat all your bets live, you can come hang out with me on Twitch. It's definitely a time. So
yeah, there you go. Anybody that's going to watch the game might as well sweat it out with a bunch of other people sweating stuff out. So yeah, definitely recommend joining that. Cool. All right. Well, Bridget, appreciate you for joining me. Everybody,
thanks
appreciate
for having
you.
me.
Yeah, appreciate you for tuning in. Let's all win our bets tonight, and we will catch you next time.